Hey everyone, this is Nerd Reviews, and this spoiler review covers this movie and aspects of Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Also, videos on this channel will either go out the 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 28th of a month, starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a little more consistency. Timestamps to areas in this review will also be in this video's description. Transformers 1 is an animated action-adventure comedy that surprised with a genre turn, prettily intentionally designed visuals and bots, clear and engaging action scenes, with standout to alright vocal performances. This movie is also an origin story that sets up a familiar rivalry. What that rivalry is familiar to Transformers fans, but I believe if you just pay attention to the movie, you can still enjoy it without any previous lore knowledge. This movie follows D, Orion, Alita, B-127, and other Cybertronians that transform to be against others. Though, once you've seen Sentinel Prime, hero of Cybertron, and remember him in Dark of the Moon, the reveal can be a bit predictable. Even with Sentinel being the main villain of the movie, the performance didn't always come off that way to me. Ham's Sentinel came more off as a scumbag businessman than to something more sinister. When he was like, "I said no speeches, they don't listen," it didn't come off as madly comedic, comedically sinister, or sinister enough to me I apologize about the plane. "Down here, the truth is what I make it," or something around those lines, sounded more sinister. Henry's Megatron had a comedic beginning to turn on what he wanted and did do to Sentinel, to D eventually fully turning and not saving Orion. Johansson's Alita was funny, pissed, and just wanted to be highly appreciated, especially in a rant to Orion if his plan went south. Alvarez's Shockwave was unnecessarily aggressive, which was funny, especially with his reaction of not wanting to follow Alita before and after she threatened him. He brought a youthful energy to B-127, sometimes was a comedic relief, and probably wouldn't be in the movie if Steve didn't have Alpha Trion's distress call. Hemsworth Orion excelled comedically at first, but was fine with the rest of his performance. The rest of the voice cast, including Buscemi's brief Starscream, was fine, but didn't stand out to me. Despite a genre of this movie being not listed, this movie is more than meets the eye. This is truly another movie in disguise. I couldn't help myself, sorry, but when the reveal happened in the cave, the movie turned into something else. It cemented its turn with Hurt D not even wanting to talk to Sentinel, but something else. Seeing this opening night and D16 yelling that out deafened the theater and even surprised me. That is when the movie started to turn little by little. It still had comedic elements coming from the Cybertronian High Guard and B-127, but it turned into a soap/space opera in the reveals and in the actions and reactions of the characters. The swelling and elaborate musical score went with the reveals and the rest of the movie, and cut when it had to, especially in some shocking moments. Rise of the Beast had some emotional moments in it, but this movie turned into something else after the cave reveal that was supported by the cast, story, music, and visuals. The animation, bots, and visual design in this movie was stunning and shiny. The visual design supported the movie thematically. When D began to turn, closed his eyes, the music twisted. The bottom half of the screen darkened as his eyes turned red and looked back at Orion. That was just chilling. Despite what some big and influential media companies might say, the action scenes were not a blur, and the virtual camera had a clear focus on what or whom to pay attention to. Let's just say you can't spell ignorance without IGN. A lot of the visual gags didn't land for me, but the first scene where Orion just locks his legs and hightails it was funny. If you are going to see this in theaters, I do have to warn you about something. I saw this in 2 separate theaters, and the mix was very effects and sound focused, and voices were a bit soft. So if you want to get the best mix, the bet would be to sit in the center of the theater, which is not ideal for everyone, including myself. This can be more of a problem depending on the size of the screen in a particular theater, when this movie has a wide aspect ratio. Transformers 1 is an animated action-adventure comedy that surprised with a genre turn, prettily and intentionally designed visuals and bots, clear and engaging action scenes, with standout to alright vocal performances. Hemsworth Orion was comedic to fine, and Ham Sentinel came off more as a scummy businessman than villainous. The second half of the movie and credit scene set up this cast for a sequel, and based on what they did with it, I would like to see more. That, however, depends on getting butts in the right seats based on the audio problems I had. Because if people don't go to this and the movie doesn't make enough, the sequel won't be even made. Despite this call to action with my theaters as some audio issues and vocal performances not coming across as much as they could have to me, this is still a pretty solid movie. Transformers 1 gets an 88 out of 100. Might have more content here on my Creative Critter Nerd, Nerby Games Gaming, and Nerdbury Product Reviews channels in this video description's links. You'll also find my support pages there and anything related to Nerd Views displays now.